welcome this afternoon to our new podcast for Survivors Voices. My name is Ida Muli, and I'm the host of today's session, whereby we have our visitor who is also a survivor, and she's going to introduce herself to us and tell us more about her journey. Welcome to our studio.
Thank you so much. Pleasure is mine for having me here. My name's Noel Msanga. From Kakamega, and I'm so excited to be your first guest on this podcast. I hope that we are going to share more. Thank you.
Yeah, so tell us more about your family, about your background, and what made you to migrate for work.
Yeah, for me, I have so many families, I would say, as my parents separated when I was one. So they both have different families. So I'm in the middle, but I'm the firstborn. And myself, I have a 15-year-old son who is mentally challenged. He has mild autism. And yeah, what led me to migrate from Kenya maybe to Gulf countries, I had separated from my marriage. So in that distress, and my son had been taken away from me. As a young mother, confused, I was sinking into depression. So due to that, my mom got so scared, and she has a friend who is an agent. So she called me telling me of a job, but she told me that we were being taken to America, not even Gulf. So we were told that we are going to work as shopkeepers in America. So at first I saw her, she was not serious. She was just joking with me. So after 2 days, she kept calling. So I left where I was to go and see her because I was raised up by my grandmother. So that is where I was. When I got there, she called the lady, the agent, who is her friend.
Yeah.
And they told me more about the country is good, about the salary and all that. And at that moment, I was jobless. So I really needed money to support my son.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I didn't knew he was having a mental issues.
Sorry about
Because
that.
he was 3 years and he had not even started walking. So I was so scared and worried. So, and just the need to be away from all this pain, I decided to travel and try a new life somewhere else to see if I could forget all that. So that's the reason I decided to travel. And we were 3 women who left with the agent from the village to the city. Actually, that was my first time to the city.
Wow.
Yeah, the city of Nairobi.
Wow.
So the first two ladies traveled before me, and just a day before I traveled, I received a call from home that my son had started walking. So that excited me, and I left knowing at least something good has happened before I leave the country. And that's when we ended up in Saudi Arabia. That was in 2012, May.
So when you left Kenya, were you aware? The lady told you you're going to America. When did you realize that it was not America but Saudi Arabia? Did you have your passport, or she's the one who processed? And who paid for your flight and the whole process? How was it?
Going to Saudi, she processed everything for me. That was the passport. She's the one who provided it, and the ticket, it was paid by my employer to go to Lebanon. Actually, and not Lebanon, to Saudi Arabia. I knew I was going to Saudi Arabia, That is after the first lady had traveled. That is when we knew that we were not going to America, but to Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
And we had no clue of what that country looked like, but she kept promising us that the country is nice, the people are nice, we will have off day, our salary is this and that. But when you get to these Gulf countries, the story changes. You get everything is different.
Wow, that must be tough because we expect to have more good things promised heaven on earth. Maybe you have plans that you want to come back home so that you can show your family you are capable and you're able to support for your son. And how was the treatment by the people that you are working for? Did they treat you well? Were they friendly, or they restricted you from communicating back to your family members and your son?
Actually, when I landed at the airport in Saudi Arabia, the first thing that got me scared was my passport being taken away from me. But I trusted the employer because he had come with his child. So when I saw the baby, I had at least confidence in me. So immediately he asked of my name. I told him that I'm Noel. So, and he didn't know much English. So he told me, no, from now you are not Noel, you are Mariam. My name changed immediately at the airport. So that was, I accepted because I knew this is not home anymore. It's a new place. So I have to adopt. In the house, when you arrive, the first thing you are told is to go take shower.
Wow.
You are checked everything and you are told that you have to go and take shower. You ask why, and they are like, oh, you are smelling, so you have to go take shower. After showering now, they will give you food and you start working immediately.
So now you've told me that they took your documents away. They told you to shower because you were smelling. What about the place where you were sleeping, the kind of food they were giving you? Did you feel accommodated to the family, or how was it?
Actually, the first horrifying thing is about the language, because the family didn't know much English. The wife to my employer was from India, so she would speak a little bit of broken English. Then I was not the only employer there. They had a lady from Indonesia. Wow. And she knew Arabic, so they would speak Arabic with the madam, and I would feel like, oh, these people are talking about me, because they would look at you and laugh. So you feel uncomfortable at that point. And then I was told that my work was to take care of the kids and clean the house, while the Indonesian lady would take care of the old woman, that was the mother to my employer, and cook food for the family. So one thing I realized that in Saudi Arabia, if you go to a family that have kids, these kids belongs to you. They are not for the owner, that is the wife of the house, because you have to do everything for them. Her job is to watch TV and go shopping, come back, that's all. So if a child may be sick, you are the one to go tell her, and if she wills, she will accompany you to the hospital with the driver. If not, the driver will take you with you will go with the driver to take the child to the hospital. So in this family that I worked for, they had 4 kids. The firstborn was 5, secondborn was 4, and the thirdborn, they were twins. They were 9 months. They were not even walking. So I would carry 2 kids at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so hard for me. And after a week, I became very sick due to food poisoning from the food that I was being given. So instead of them taking me to the hospital, they took me to the office claiming that I had refused to work. On arrival at the office, they asked me that why is it that I don't want to work? I told them that I'm sick. I only need to go and see the doctor and find out what is wrong with me. So I was told that the employer says I'm not sick, I'm lying, that I should, if I want to go back home, that is to Kenya, I should pay them $3,000. And in my life, I had not seen the face of any dollar. So I was wondering, kept on wondering, these are a huge sum of money. Where will I get all this money? So knowing that you cannot pay that, they will threaten you to go back to work. So when I refused to go back with my employer, they left me at the office. In the evening, I was taken to a room whereby I met other migrants, so many of them from different countries. It was a very tiny room, and we were many of us. Some will tell you that they have been there for 10 months. Others will tell you that they have been there for a year. So you would wonder, how are you surviving in this small room for a year? What happened? And someone would start crying. So I became so scared, but hearing stories from others gave me courage, and I even felt like mine was not even that big issue. So we would spend the whole day there. Sometimes in the morning we'll be taken to the office, and in that office we had a Kenyan lady who was working there. So she would call one by one and she would slap you mercilessly.
So sorry.
Yeah, telling you that why is it that you want to shame your country? Why is it that you don't want to work? But I'm sick. Take me to the hospital and take me back to work. I've not refused to work. She'll say that you are lying. You Kenyans, you are so stubborn. So, and she's like, you die here. I'll say, I will not die here. So I was there for 2 weeks, and that house that we were, the tiny room, because in the morning a lady would come, an Arab lady, and share soap for us. That is like the powder soap to wash our clothes. One spoon each, the tablespoon.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So you are told to wash your clothes with this. And so at first when I washed my clothes, I was going to hang them upstairs, but on the roof. I was told not to go alone. So I asked why. He said that those who go alone up never comes back alive. It was more of a horror house. So many people had died there.
Sorry.
So hearing that, I got so scared, and when they took me to the office, that is after a week of being there, and they called me because my boss had come. So the first thing he asked, do you have $3,000 or you want to go back to work? I quickly said that I'm going back to work.
Wow.
Yes. So I didn't want to die there, and I didn't have money. I didn't have anyone to ask for this money. So I decided to go back to work. Though he came with the driver who would speak fluent English, and I explained what my problem was, and he translated. So we had an agreement that there will be no any mistreatment from his wife anymore. So we agreed, and I went back to work for him in the house. And while sharing with others, so they told me that these Arab women, most of them, they are so afraid. They can only talk, but they can't do anything to you. So whenever they shout at you, someone told me, just jump up like a Maasai and they will vanish. You will not see them close to you again. So when I came back, and they started laughing at me and all that, so I kept quiet. Then she came back and was talking to me in Arabic, and she's like, Bisra. So I didn't understand Arabic, what she was telling me. So I would go to the mirror and look at myself and I'm like, what is wrong with my face? Why is she telling me Bsra? Not knowing that she's telling me quickly. It was so funny.
Yeah.
Knowing a language is something so important. So with that, one day she came troubling and I did as I was told, to jump up and shout at my loudest voice. So when I did that, she ran. Truly, she ran away and locked me in the kitchen and locked all the doors, and she called the husband to come home quickly that I had gone crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so the husband came and she called, Mariam, where are you? I said, I'm here. Are you okay? I said, yes, I'm fine, sir. So he's like, you are the trouble. He was telling the wife, you are the trouble. If this lady lives here, I will not bring any other employer for you, because I was told I was the 5th in 3 months to come to that house. So from there, I started working, so I became friendly with the kids. If you want to survive in a house where there are kids in Arab country, let the kids love you and take good care of them.
Wow.
That was the trick. So with that, my employer went and bought a book which had Arabic and English translations for me. So I would read and we would watch more of cartoons. So that's how I learned to speak Arabic language.
Wow.
I worked there for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
At first, they didn't want me to use my phone, but I told them I cannot survive without my phone. So they allowed me, but I would buy my data myself to communicate with the family. So through that, thank God for social media, that's how I met with others who were there. So we would communicate and encourage each other. Like in the night, they would tell you, oh, in this house, I'm doing this and that, this is happening to me. So we'd encourage each other over the phone, and that's how we survived. So when I completed my contract, that is after 2 years, 2 months, now it was time to come home. But since the kids were also in touch with them, they didn't want to let me go. They wanted me to renew the contract, but I refused. So my employer told me that he would throw me in a country that I would never be found by my family again.
Wow.
So I really insisted on going home, but he refused. I had now to become a liar. I would lie, oh, this one has died, this one has had accident, allow me go home and take care of this person. So at the end, he now called, that was in the evening hours, he called saying that he had booked a flight for me to Kenya for 15 days, then come back and work, continue working with them. I agreed, but I changed, so I called one of my friends over the phone and she told me that, she laughed and I was like, why are you laughing at me? She had come to Kenya. She told me that I was told we were going to have dinner at the airport, not knowing that was how I was being taken home with slippers, no bag, nothing, no phone.
Salary?
Nothing. They didn't give her anything. They didn't even allow her to take the phone. She was told they were going out to have dinner, but it will be at the airport.
Wow, that was
Yeah.
bad.
So she told me, if your boss has told you to go home for 15 days and you'll be back, he's lying. Just pack a few of your things, even if it is one bag, then take it with you. So I listened to her, and that is what I did, because during those the 2 years I had bought things. Maybe when you go to the market, you'll buy things. Whenever people come to the house, they will gift you. So I had 7 bags in Lebanon, in Saudi Arabia. So I wanted to send all these things home, but he told me, no, leave them. Just come with your handbag and I'll send it as cargo at home for you. But my friend told me, take even if it is just one bag, you'll be safe. That is what I did. And reaching at the airport, he was so angry. Why am I carrying a bag? And the wife was crying, signaling me not to go. I didn't know why she was crying. She was so afraid, terrified. The kids were crying. Not knowing my boss had paid my ticket to Ethiopia.
Before you get to Ethiopia, I want to take you back to where you were taken to this office, and you were many people in one small room. Someone told you that when you wash your clothes and you take them up there, you will not come back. What does that mean?
The place we were, it was a bit far away from the office, and that house was believed to be a horror house. So the women over there who had stayed for long, they had experienced this. Maybe there were several girls who had gone to hang the clothes all by themselves, and they never returned alive. So that is why we used to go as a group to hang the clothes, so that all of us can come down. We don't know if someone was hanging them. We do not know if they were committing suicide over there. No one can tell, but if someone went alone up, that was the end.
That must be so traumatizing and horrific, and I hope the rest of the ladies got their own freedom to go back to their countries or go back to work.
Actually, it depended with your employer. If he's not coming to ask for you, or if maybe you are taken to the office and the new employers who are coming to pick ladies from there, if they look at you and they are like, this one I cannot take to my house, you will continue staying there.
And before you go through all this, did you sign any contract? That's why you were taken to that office. When you migrated from Kenya, is there a contract that you signed?
Kenya is funny, really. I didn't sign any paper here in Kenya, neither did I sign any contract in Lebanon when I arrived. But now this second time that I was going back to my employer, that is when I signed the contract to work for 2 years for him.
Yeah, so now we can continue from them booking a ticket for you to Ethiopia and not Kenya. Why was that? Did they want to punish you, or it's because they wanted you to stay in their house and they're forcing you and you're refusing?
Actually, the contract we sign is for 2 years.
Yes.
So we believe that after 2 years you should be going back to your family.
Yeah.
But that is not the case over there. For my employer, he had said that those who had worked for him, the least they had stayed with him was 6 years. So I was imagining 6 years without seeing my family. I cannot survive this. So that's why I decided that no matter what, I have to go home. There was even a time I told him that one of my relatives had died. This guy, my employer, he brought money and gave me to send to my family for the funeral.
And you did that?
I did. Because wow. You've said someone has died and he's giving you money and is waiting for you to. He's the one taking you to the bank actually to send the money home. You have funeral, right? And it's like, someone has died, you are not going home to resurrect the person. Just send the money to support the family, and that is all. You continue working.
Wow, and now they've taken you to the airport, the small bag that your friend has told you to not to leave it behind. Did you have important documents? Did they give you back your passport?
Yeah, I was given my passport, and but only the flight ticket was paid to Ethiopia, not to Kenya.
And now you have arrived in the airport, you've boarded a flight to Ethiopia. What did you do next after landing in a country that does not take you home?
So from there, as they were checking the passports, and the lady over the counter looked at me and she was like, "Are you an Ethiopian?" I said, "No." And she asked, "But this is your destination. Your flight is only to here. Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Kenya."
Wow.
So she was like, now if you are from Kenya, you have to pay another ticket to Kenya. At this point, I had no money on me. I had sent my salary home.
What
I
did you
didn't
do?
have anything. Drama, of course, because how am I now going to live here? At first, it is shock
Yes.
because these are people you've lived with for 2 years. You expect them to be like more of a family to you. You've been good to them, and now they are paying you in a bad way. I'm not Ethiopian. Why would he throw me here? But then I remembered his words that if I refuse to work for him, he will throw me in a country that I will not be able to be found by my family. So there, because I was still wearing the habaya, that's how they call it, the Arabic clothes, the Muslim.
Yeah, the gown.
Yeah. I wore that because, sorry, I skipped this part, because now when I came back to the house, I was forced to become a Muslim.